Well, as fear and terror is being whipped up once again, and now under the present administration, just like it was before under Bush, I'd like you to consider the following article by Bruce Dixon over at the Black Agenda Report. I'll post a link to it. What does the hapless Nigerian mope yanked off a Detroit plane at on Christmas Day for setting his lap on fire have in common with color-coded terror alerts, the shoeless, homeless Miami Haitians convicted of trying to bring down the Sears Tower, or with the 2004 pre-election videos allegedly dropped by Osama bin Laden? Easy. All have been useful in whipping up public fear of Muslim-inspired terrorism, and each and every one plugs neatly and sweetly into the meta-narratives that justify increasing power of U.S. police and intelligence establishments and the further militarization of foreign policy, and also here at home. The guy is said to be an engineering student from Nigeria who received terrorist training in Yemen. Engineers are the practical souls of whose profession is making things that actually work. Fortunately for the people on that plane, he seems to have been a very bad student who would have been a very wretched engineer. He didn't know the difference between an explosive device, which might have done great harm to the plane and its passengers, and a small incendiary device, which could do no more than basically set his own lap on fire. His Nigerian nationality, of course, is extremely useful, as it lets terror experts and talking heads on TV and radio to draw simplistic and misleading pictures for American audiences of Nigeria as a place besieged by Muslim fundamentalists linked with Al-Qaeda and in need of more U.S. military assistance. In the real world, Nigeria is a major U.S. oil supplier, and West Africa furnishes about a fifth of the U.S. oil imports, a portion expected to grow, of course. Nigeria has pumped millions of dollars for oil for the West over the last 50 years, without managing to give its own people in these oil-rich areas even a modicum of clean water, electricity, or hospitals. It has allowed foreign oil companies to make the region one of the most polluted in the world. So the Nigerian father of this so-called terrorist now calls up U.S. authorities and says, hey, wait a minute, I think you ought to put this guy on your list. Well, as bureaucracies go and come, even if this guy really truly was a threat, nothing, of course, was being done about it. And As Patrick Cockburn pointed out in his latest article over at Counterpunch, you may want to look up Yemen in terms of our next target for military aggression. Not that it hasn't already started, it's already underway, but this incident mainly serves to bring the American people on board as to further that kind of aggressive policy. I'll try to post a link to it. So basically what we're being told once again is that everything is nice and fine. We should support further wars, attack more countries in order to further the war on terrorism. Bring everybody on board, you know, ratchet up the fear. This under the Obama administration, no less. You know, he owns the Bush policy at this point, because he's not exactly deviating from it now, is he? You know, one possible answer to all of these crazy questions is that this guy on this plane might actually have been a patsy, a fool, manipulated by smarter people and more resourceful than him for the purpose of creating the useful terrorist incident. That's what happened to the Haitians in Miami. It whips up the fear once again, and it promotes exactly the same policies which have been followed for years on end. And once again, people will fall right again in line. All I have to tell you is this: governments lie. All governments lie. And you need to look between the lines as to how these lies function in your own psyche. Some might be believed. Some might even be credible in your own mind because they are articulated so well. On the other hand, things are just falling too neatly into place once again. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, you know, but once I see too many pieces falling into place, I start to question things. And I start to question my government, my representatives, or my supposed representatives. Do the same. Do the same. Start questioning.